I feel much better today.
What do you mean?
Oh, I had a cold the other day. I've recovered and now I'm at full power. So it's time to begin your hero training.
What?
Shazam! Now you're a wizard to play Wizardry.
You didn't turn me into a wizard, you turned me into a frickin' dollar store. Now give me my clothes back.
Not until you play Wizardry.
I played Wizardry. It's one of the first computer RPGs I ever played.
Did you beat it?
No?
Then it's time you do. Besides, look at the bright side of things. You're a wizard. You can cast the spells that make the peoples fall down.
Really? Then die. Fire!
But not in real life. Just in the game. Now play the damn game, and you'll get your clothes back.
Wizardry Proving Grounds of the Mad Overlord is an important game in the history of computer RPG games. I should probably point out that although this is the first Wizardry game, this is not the original version of the game. The NES port was made years after its first release on the Apple II computer, and sports improved graphics. But mechanically it is the same game, the only thing that is different is the improved graphics and easier to use command menu. For example, in the original game you needed to type out the names of spells, and this served as a way to reduce game pirating because you needed a copy of the spell list from the instruction manual. The NES version just lets you select the spells from a menu. Now for a little background history. Wizardry was the creation of two designers, Robert Woodhead and Andrew Greenberg, who formed a company with Norman Cyrotech called Surtech, one of the first video game developers formed specifically to create computer RPG games. Now Wizardry was not the first computer dungeon crawler. Several have been created for the Plato terminals on college campuses, but Wizardry was one of the first produced for commercial personal computers like the Apple II. Consequently, it was one of the first massively popular computer dungeon crawlers, and it spawned a large number of sequels, and even an animated film. I would say that part of the popularity of this game is due to its graphical improvements over its text-only ancestors. The plot of the game is that an evil wizard named Werdna has stolen a magical amulet from King Trevor. King Trevor announces that he will handsomely reward anyone who slays Werdna and retrieves the amulet. Unfortunately, Werdna is hiding in an underground labyrinth guarded by powerful monsters that he summoned. You control a party of adventurers who decide to seek their riches by slaying Werdna and retrieving the amulet for King Trebner. Wait, Werdna? Trevor? Yeah, you guys are real fucking clever. Anyway, inside the game there is no narrative element. This means the story I just told you is only mentioned in the instruction manual. There are no town villagers to talk to or king to send you on a quest or anything like that. There really is no plot at all. Now while some may see this as a flaw, having a narrative detached from the game itself was common for computer games back then. But you know, I've talked about this already in my History of Computer RPG game videos, so if you'd like to hear more about this, check those videos out. Back to the gameplay of Wizardry. You'll notice the game is largely text-based. The locations of the town are not graphically represented, and there are no graphics to represent your characters either. The graphics only appear inside the dungeon, which is presented from a first-person perspective. There is no automap function either, which means you can easily get lost inside the dungeon. Most players resort to drawing their own maps on graph paper, but I happen to have the official strategy guide with detailed maps and coordinates. Character creation is pretty simple. You first choose a race, then you distribute bonus points to your character's stats. In order for a character to join a class, they need to have certain stat levels. The character's stats will change when they level up, and you can class change your characters into new jobs, such as prestige jobs like samurais and ninjas. When they change jobs, they will retain the spells they had learned from their previous job. However, you need to keep in mind that characters also have alignments, good, neutral, and evil. Some classes require a character to be a certain alignment, but good and evil characters cannot party with one another. The game uses a Vancian spellcasting system borrowed from Dungeons & Dragons, meaning spells belong to a certain level. As a character levels up, they increase the number of times they can cast certain level spells, and the only way to recover spent spell slots is to rest at an inn. You generally have a very limited number of times you can cast a spell, so status ailments like sleep, paralyze, and silence are deadly, as you can only cure them a limited number of times. This makes the game very difficult. Your party can consist of a total of 6 characters, but only the first 3 characters can attack with weapons. The others are there for support or to cast spells. If your team is wiped out, you can send a rescue party into the dungeon to find them, but they may have none of their items when you do rescue them. Bear in mind that dead characters can be resurrected, but there is a chance they will be perma-killed during the revival attempt. If that wasn't enough, characters in Wizardry have ages. Yeah, characters age in this game. If they go over 60 years old, their stats go down. If they become too old, they will permanently die. How do you like that? Spending weeks building an awesome character, only for them to turn into a freaking grandpa and keel over. Now, one of the very first things you need to do after creating characters is buy items for them. However, there is no in-game way to see what items do. For that, you need the strategy guide. This is something I really need to stress because many items are cursed, so if you put them on your non-evil characters, they will be penalized. I will point out that the official strategy guide neglects to tell you how much damage weapons deal. For that, I'm having to turn to game FAQs, and looking at their stats, I can see that the cost of items has been chosen arbitrarily, because there are items with poor stats worth much more than cheaper items that have better stats. I'm pretty sure these items are just here to be sold at the shop, so basically the roots of the vendor trash concept used by massively multiplayer online game economies harkens back to Wizardry. Another thing I should mention about weapon damage is that the game simulates dice rolls. For example, the damage of the EP of Excellence is listed as ID6 plus 2, which is shorthand for one 6-sided dice roll with the number 2 added to the dice roll result, generating a number between 3 and 8. So this means each blow with the sword deals 3 to 8 damage points. This concept is taken straight from D&D, and I'm explaining this because I think most computer gamers today are completely unfamiliar with D&D, and the FAQs for this game do not mention what the dice rolls mean. Also, just like in advanced Dungeons & Dragons, armor class is reduced by equipping armor, and you want a lower armor class value to avoid taking blows. This mechanic isn't very intuitive, so again, those unfamiliar with Dungeons & Dragons could be left confused when they put on armor and see their armor class went into the negatives. Most defeated enemies will leave a treasure chest, but I promise you that every chest in this goddamn game is booby-trapped. If you don't have a thief of high agility, you're gonna get your ass handed to you. Damn it, Musashi, you're taking way too much frickin' damage. You're not living up to your name at all. From now on, you shall be known as Titus, because it's a more appropriate name for a wuss like you. Occasionally you'll come across monsters that don't want to fight you, but I say fuck them. If you were weaker, they would have killed you, right? Well, if you pick on the weak, your alignment will change from good to evil. And if you don't fight them, your alignment can change from evil to good. So what does this matter? Well, the best items in the game can only be used by evil characters, but some of the prestige jobs can only be obtained when the character is good. So you need to manipulate this part of the game to build the best party. Now, the most effective way to level in this game is to grind on Murphy's Ghost, a monster found on the first floor of the dungeon. It's pretty easy to do so, and you can just keep resetting the encounter. The problem is that it's just really massively freaking boring. Finally, we're ready to go down to the 10th floor. Damn it, this floor is really hard. I'm gonna have to teleport back up to the end.
Make sure you get your coordinates right. Malor is a really hard spell to use.
Hey, I know how to read a map, okay? I know how to do this.
Okay.
Damn it, that's a freaking rock? That's not a rock? That's not a rock?
You are not a very good wizard. Are you ready to give up now?
Fuck that. I'm gonna beat this fucking game. You know what? I'm confident that I could do this all over again. I'd get all the keys, re-level my guys, get my gear, get my money, all that shit, and then go down to the floor and fight Werna. But you know what would probably happen? I'd probably teleport to another goddamn wall again. So I'm gonna Game Genie this shit on a fucking emulator. Because my fucking Game Genie doesn't work in my NES.
You're a quitter. Until you beat this game properly, you will never be worthy of wielding me as a true hero.
I am completely okay with that.
You're not allowed to be a wizard anymore.
Fucking wizard and your fucking labyrinth of fucking monsters. Fucking show you. Be level fucking 100 and something. Who's the wizard now, bitch? Huh? Who's the wizard? I'm the fucking wizard. Yeah, that's right. Take it. Take it, Werna. Take it. Fucking wizard. You're not a fucking wizard, you're a fucking punk. I'm the fucking wizard. I am! Got the fucking amulet now. It's mine. And all I have to do is teleport back up to the town. But it's 00 floor 1! 00 floor 1, there's nothing there but the fucking stairs!
Ha ha!